Hi guys, welcome to this session of Python programming. Um, we are covering today data types and arithmetic operations and also variables. So we are covering data types, um, arithmetic operations, and variables and rules for variables. So take note, every section will have a quiz on this one together with this video. So um, yeah, just follow along. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's go to our Jupyter notebook. Let me run my Jupyter notebook. Just look for Anaconda right here in your start, and then look for Anaconda, and then it will run. It should run, and it should give you the window for Anaconda right here. And what we're going to use is Jupyter Lab. Okay, just click Jupyter Lab and wait for it to run. It will run on the browser, as you can see. And now we have this notebook right here. So we can create as many notebooks as we want. Now this is an environment, integrated a testing environment or workspace, so to say. So we can test codes right here. Again, to execute the code, you go to the code and you press Shift Enter. Okay, press the Shift Enter. I'll create a notebook. Go to File and then New and Notebook. And don't forget to save that notebook. It's about Python. Okay. And we'll start with our programming. So you have here inputs and output will appear below it. Yeah. So, well, let's go to my Microsoft Word first. So we go and talk about data types just for this first topic. So when we're dealing with whole numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 100, or 500, or 2000, this is what we call integer data type. Okay, integer, not internet. And in Python, we declare them as int. Okay, so let's say, for example, int my tax. Okay, then you can specify a variable. Now, you don't have to in Python. You don't have to actually specify the what do you call that, the data type. So based on the value, it will just return. So that's a good thing about programming in Python. So if I say here, my tax equals to 100, then if you type the command type function and my tax, it will give you integer data type. So let's try that one out. So in going back to your Jupyter Lab, my tax, okay, is equals to 100. Press Shift Enter, and now it's saved into memory. And we say type function my tax. Okay, press Shift Enter, and as you can see, it will show you that it's an integer, whole number. Okay, those are whole numbers. So it's very easy topic right there. The next one, the next data type is called float, or floating numbers, floating point numbers. We declare such variables or like the word float. And so what are floating point numbers? Well, your keyword there is point, floating point, and you add let's say, for example, this one. Let's say, for example, 100.25. So you have a decimal value right there. Okay, so that's a floating point number. Any number that has that has decimal is considered a float or a floating point number. The next data type is called string, or we declare them as str. A string is usually with Double quote, this is a string, or single quote, this is another string. So take note of that. Strings are what do you call that? Enclosed in by a quotation, single quote, and double quote. Okay, so that's a string. That's a it can be used for names, anything that you will not use for calculation or data, like we saw first name, last name, middle name, and so on and so forth. That's considered, like, that can be considered as a string data type. The next data type is called the list. So we declare list as list. And what is a list? Basically, it's just a list of values. For example, hello or hi. So it's a list, and as simple as that, you know. So this values, according to their order, it has its own. It's what we call indices or index. So the index of hello is 0, and the index of hi is 1. So if you call that variable, if you declare a variable with the value list, then you can say this is 0, variable 0, and then variable 1. We look at that shortly more. Okay. The next one is dictionaries, or we declare them as dict. What is a dictionary? Well, basically dictionaries are unordered key pairs. When you say key pair, there's key and then the value. So what is the first thing is the value. For example, you start now. Dictionaries must be enclosed with the curly braces and say my key 1, then colon, and then what is the value? Value 1. Okay, and then you separate by comma if you have another dictionary list. So my forgot to put quotation, and then colon, and then the value something. Okay, so that's a dictionary. It's not it's an ordered because it can be used in any order later on. We will talk about that some more in the future lessons. Okay. The next data type is called tuples or tuples, and we declare them as tup. Now, what are tuples? Tuples are ordered and immutable, meaning the sequence of or the order cannot be changed. Cannot be changed. For example, we declare a tuple with parentheses, and then we say 10, and then we say hello, and then 5. Okay. But you can see there's an order. Sorry, there's a mistake there. And here, the first one, or index 0, and then index 1 is hello, and index 2 is 5. You cannot change the order of this. If it's a tuple or tuple, we cannot change the order of the values, unlike dictionaries. Okay, that's the main difference. We'll talk more about that later on. And then the last one, the second to the last one, is called set. So this one are a collection of objects. For example, it's like dictionaries, but they don't have a key value pair. So say hello. Okay, I'm getting my examples, and B. Okay, so you see the differences. Here's a list. Here's a dictionary. Here's a couple. Here's a set. So you see the differences in data type. So you will further understand that later on. The last one in the list is called Boolean variables or data type, and we declare them as bool. And this has two possible answers. One is true, or one is false. Yeah, or one is 1 and 0, 1 or 0, or yes or no. So those are the different data types. There, if you want to know more about data types, you can get them online. Go to YouTube, go to W3C Schools, and to learn more about them. Now, next, let's look at arithmetic operations. So we have here a subtitle. Just number that one. We have 1, and then number 2 is arithmetic operations. So basically, what are your arithmetic operations? You have addition, subtraction, multiplication. Sorry about my hands because of my camera is right on the keyboard, and division. So what are the symbols for each? It's easy. It's plus, minus, and asterisk, and then division. So how do you use them? Well, let's go to our Jupyter lab. Say 1 plus 1, shift enter, and or 501 plus 309, shift enter. So basically that's how you use that. It's very easy. How about subtractions? Same thing. 300 minus 123, shift enter, or 300 minus 300. Okay. For multiplication, 3 asterisk 5, that should be 15, and 2 asterisk 199 is 398. So a simple arithmetic operations, a very easy concept, and make sure that you master them. The last one is division. Okay, so we have 0.8 for 4 divided by 5, 20 divided by 3, and you get 6.666. So we have a floating point answer right there, 6.6666667. So those are the common arithmetic operations. We just need to cover some more. For example, you might be new to this, called modulo or percent, and exponentiation. Symbol is double asterisk. So how does that work? Well, remember, when you divide something, for example, 5 divided by 2, what is the whole number? What is the integer value? It's actually 2.5, right? So we have the integer 2, which is the value, the integer value. But there's a remainder. Where did it get this 0.5? Because there's 1 left. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4, so there's 1. So you divided that 1 into 0.5. That's why you get 2.5. But what if we say we want to get the remainder of 5 divided by 2? What will you do? Well, you use the operation, you use the symbol percent instead of slash. Percent 2, and then the answer will give you the remainder, will be 1. Okay. The other one is exponentiation. Remember, 2 raised to the 5th power. So this is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, that's the equivalent of 2 raised to the 5th power. How do you do it in Python? Well, it's very easy. So just say 2 asterisk and then 5. 2 raised to the 5th power. Or another example can be 10 raised to the 6th power. That can be equivalent to 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 to 4 times 10. So that's the equivalent of 10 raised to the 6th power. Okay, let's head back to our Jupyter lab. Let's do a what do you call that? Mod. So 75. Let's start with small number. Okay, mod 2, we get 1. Okay, 7 mod 2, you get 1. 7 mod 3, you get still 1. Okay, or 71 mod 5, you get 1. Okay, so that's how easy it is to use modulo. Let's go to the exponentiation. How does exponentiation work? So in the previous example, we have 10 raised to the 6th power. So 10 raised to the 6th power, press enter, and you get 100,000. So simple. 2 raised to 4 equivalent to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, press enter, and you get 15. Okay, so very simple concept about arithmetic operations. And of course, you also can group um, numbers or formulas. For example, let's go to the prime word. 1 plus 1 divided by 4 times 3. So what will happen is that the option here first will be added, then this one will be multiplied, and then whatever the output is, they'll be divided by, this one will be divided by the number of the output here. So simple. The last thing in this activity is called variables. Okay, go to the variable section. And okay, you need to know some rules in declaring variable. Yeah. The first one is don't start with a number. Okay. So for example, 1 bar. That's wrong. Okay. So don't use that. By the way, what are variables? Variables are locations in the location in the memory where you can store an information or data. That's a variable. Okay. Next one is no spaces, please. Do not use spaces. So for example, my car. That's wrong. Do not use something like that. Okay. Number 3 is do not use special characters. What are special characters? We have dollar, number, at sign, and so on and so forth. Those are special characters. Do not use them in creating variables. And second to the last one, it's good to use lowercase letters. There's what we call Pascal notation for creating variables, and camel notation. You can use that. You can search them on the internet if you like for additional information. You can use that as well, but as much as possible, most of the letters are lowercase. And the last one is avoid using words that has special meaning in Python. For example, str, list, those commands, or type, those has special meaning in Python. So please do not use those. So those are rules that you need to follow when creating variables. Variables are a named location in memory that you can store information. So let's begin by doing some examples. Okay, for example, we have my age. Okay, for your variable, you can use underscore, by the way, in replace of what do you call that, space. It's like equals and then 5. Okay, and salary. Those are valid variables, 10,500.50. Okay, and then these variables can be used can be used for calculation. So you just say x is equals to my age, which is not right. Okay, times salary. So you can do that. So whatever the value of my age and salary will be calculated, multiplied, and will be stored into the new variable called tax. By the way, variables can be changed at any time. A value of a variable can be changed at any time in the program. For example, I declared my age here, and I want to, at the 4th line, you declare my age with a different value. For example, oops, something and anything. Okay. So now the value of my age is superseded by this one right here. I mean, the value of this one is superseded by the value of the new my age thing. So if you use this formula right here, it will give you an error. Why? Because now the value of my age is not anymore the number. Okay, it's already a text, a list. So you cannot do calculation on that. So that wraps up the topics for today. We have just a review data types, we have arithmetic operations, and we have variables. So I hope you learned something from that, and have a good day.